You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Good morning. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show featuring the RADMAN and crew. We ready to get it in here as we do each and every Saturday morning. And we got, boy, do we got a lot to talk about in the world of sports today. We talk sports of all sorts, so we got a lot to get to this morning. And first, we're going to start. I told you his ass should have been ran after the 13-second game. Everybody knew it. You should have fired his ass. The guy should have been gone. You get a lead with 13 seconds left. How do you lose the game? Absolutely right. How do you lose the game? And the game we talking this morning, coming live from the Rock Palm Broker studio, as we do each and every Saturday morning for sure. Tiger Woods, the what's he say is Bayesian or Bayesian? He don't use the word black or African American. And he what is it?
Camblaisian.
Camblaisian. Thank you, Camblaisian. This Camblaisian brother, who's really not a brother, as we could see, man. Why can't you get you a driver, Tiger Woods? I mean, not a driver that you drive your golf course, not a golf club. I'm talking about pay yourself a driver. If the mayor of Malik Evans and mayor of the city of Rochester, New York, can have a driver, you definitely should have a driver as well. And then for you to get right in your neighborhood, why do your cars always flip over? That's why I'm wondering. His cars always flipping on their sides, on their back, or something. And then got the audacity. That's why he knew he wasn't. He knew he wasn't black. He walking away from the seat on the cell phone talking. The cop said, "Hey man, come back here, man. Where you going?" "Oh man, I'm talking to the president." I was like, "Man, if that was the president of what? McDonald's, man? Wait, who you calling? The president of McDonald's to tell him about the road?" "Nah, man. The president of the United States." United States. Oh man, you got it like that. You think the man got time to talk to you when he got a war going on, got all kinds of chaos going on in his administration? He gonna take time out of his schedule to talk to you? Let's get that. Really? You gonna get yourself taken care of, and your eyes bloodshot. Obviously, it wasn't alcohol. They found some pills on you. This ain't the first time they allegedly had pills on you, and you said, "Hey, I had all these back surgeries." And when you have surgeries, I can understand that. You're going to have injuries and you're going to have pain. So he's down there in Florida. Obviously, he's in a lot of pain. Or as one of the people have said, maybe his doctors let him down by putting him on all these painkillers. And it looked like allegedly it could be some type of addiction going on here because it's been going on for too long with the with him being with pills in his pocket and caught up in these type of situations. So Tiger Woods, hey, man, you may not be black, but, hey, man, they about to teach you, let you know what color you really are, man, let you know what time it really is, man, because I'm sick and tired of you being sick and tired of you acting like you're not a black person in the world today. If your dad was alive, I'm sure he would be letting you know what time it really is, because Mr. Woods was on point. It's just a shame that he was an elderly gentleman raising you to great success. But ever since he passed on, and ever since he got that first divorce from his wife, and this guy's been spiraling out of control, and something he needs to get some help really quick. And it just tells you everything you need to know about his lifestyle. He gets on the phone and calls the president of the United States. Who does that? Wouldn't you call your wife or significant other or girlfriend or brother or family member? Wouldn't you call somebody and say, "Hey, bro, can you come? I just got in an accident. Can you come over to 5th and Main and pick me up, man? The police are here, man. I need you to come maybe give me a ride home and see about you." So is that the best you can do about somebody seeing about you? That's a sad state of affairs he's in. Right, Bilal?
Yeah, my dad used to say the worst thing that could happen isn't that you get caught doing something, is that you get away with doing it. And so him getting caught is only a byproduct of getting away with it a bunch of times, and now that he got caught, you know what I mean? And it's not like this the first time you got caught. When you get caught like this, you've done it a bunch of times and gotten away with it, and you got so arrogant to your point about him not getting a driver. That's because he's gotten away with it. And so when the first instinct is to call the president, you know this is about to hit the fan and this is about to get ugly. So you trying to get far enough ahead of it with somebody who you feel like got enough power and control to spin the narrative. But man, listen, I don't care what it was. If I was facing the death penalty, I wouldn't call that man. That's just how I feel about our current administration and how what he showed about. I mean, what do you feel about people that look like us? I mean, even he signed an executive order just this week to stop athletes, to limit athletes from being able to go into the portal only one time. You can transfer one time now, is what this executive order is saying, without then having to sit out a year, because that was the old school rule. I know it's going to face some challenges and with implementation, but the fact that he was signing it just tells you, if I was facing the death penalty, I wouldn't call him.
Absolutely. It's none of his business, man. The NCAA is not his business, man. He's really in everything. The Kennedy Center, this and that. I mean, this all over this and every, sticking his nose in all kinds of business where it doesn't belong. In the real business, he really needs to stick his nose in. He seems to be in and out of that as well. As Morris Thompson, welcome from the Beltway. He said he think his lawyer would take up it just like last time. Yeah, I'm sure his lawyer. I wonder why he didn't call his lawyer. Or maybe he did call him too. But man, he calling the president of the United States and talking about, I called the president, like that's supposed to let the law enforcement guys know to let him go, man. That was kind of hilarious, man. And it's sad to see him in the state of affairs that he's in, and hopefully he can get off of these addictive painkillers or whatever he's taken, because he did mention, I've had over 7 surgeries, so that kind of let me know, oh man, this guy's in a lot of pain from these surgeries and and he's working out. He looks to be in good shape, great shape, but hey man, he got to get it together and get himself right. Bilal, and we're going to go to our first guest of the day. We're sponsored by Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Pick it up each week in the community. This week, Larry Bedgood received the honor of being the referee. He was the Central Western girls official of the year. Larry Bedgood, congratulations. That article is in this week's Challenger Community News, as well as the health and fitness, what greens we should be eating, type of healthy foods and things like that Healthy Matters section. Check it out in Challenger Community News on a weekly basis. And let's go to our first guest of the day, the pastor, Dr. Reverend Daryl Scott of Memorial AME Zion Church. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
I am fantastic, gentlemen. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, and we know you're a big Duke Blue Devil fan, and we're gonna get to Duke Blue Devil. Let's get to it right away. What happened to your Blue Devils? What happened there? Why did they freeze up at the end of that game last weekend?
Listen, John Shire is receiving a lot of flack, and there is no excuse. There is no excuse, but I would that everybody just realize how difficult it is to maintain a lead. Basketball is about a game of runs. And the moment that a team gets a spark, they have nothing to lose. I mean, their season is on the line. They have nothing to lose. And I seen it coming. From a mile away. Now, the last play, no excuse. You got 10 seconds left. Even if you get a 10-second violation, the game is over. So they do not have to cross half court. They do not have to cross. But it was a complete choke job. But hey, it's the game of basketball. That's why we love it. That's why we call it madness.
Absolutely. And let's give people your background. You played basketball in college. Well, let people know that you play. You're just not a novice coming on here talking basketball talk.
Yes, sir. I did play Division II basketball at a school called Lees McRae College in North Carolina. I played 4 years there a long time ago. My wife actually played 4 years at Milligan College, a Division II school as well. And matter of fact, as we speak, we are in Spooky Nuke, Pennsylvania, because my 2 boys are playing in the maid circuit for Easter tournament. So I'm going to sprint back to Rochester tonight. So ball is life in our family.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And tomorrow being, always call it Super Sunday in the church community, Easter Sunday, one of the most holiest days of the year in the church. Why is it you see more people starting to come back to churches now, where you see, especially the younger people?
Yes, yes. So Easter is our tradition. Our tradition. We as Black folk, Easter is the day that we celebrate Christ, but it's also almost like a coming back to church day. Coming back to church day. Grandparents bring their kids, their grandkids. They get in their Sunday's best. It's a wonderful time. So our prayer is that the gospel is presented in such a way that transformation takes place. So it's not just a Easter, Mother's Day, and Christmas thing, and that is not a condescending remark, but it's just more so that people see the value of maintaining a connection with God, particularly Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Bilal.
Yeah, I'm a backpedal real quick back to this Duke game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how do you? I'm with you. How do you give up a shot? Give up that shot in that situation? Yeah, it completely sings. Gives choke job. But the question I wanted to ask was, there's a lot of talk about the freshmen versus kind of now you have to use the transfer portal, kind of it. Where do you find that? Where do you find that line or needing that mix of talent versus experience? Because a couple of years ago, it started with the Fab Five, first five, freshmen starting, then in the early mid 2000s that became like the wave, and now you're seeing like it back to needing guys with experience. What are your thoughts on that?
The reality is, yes, experience is going to win. Experience is going to win. Talent no longer. The John Calipari, Coach K with the 2015, those teams, unless they are just exceptional, they're not going to win. Duke had two players last year that are either going to be or runner-up rookie player of the year. So the two best rookies in the NBA now played on Duke's team last year, and they did not win it all. So you got to have experience. I think my challenge is we're doing a disservice to the younger kids. I believe in the transfer portal. If coaches can leave and go whenever they want, and if coaches can get rid of players whenever they feel like it, I believe in some type of player empowerment. But I think COVID didn't do us any favors because now we don't have a age cap. I think that unless you have a medical red shirt, you should not be allowed to play beyond the age of 24 years old. Because you got 25 and 26-year-olds playing their fifth and sixth season of college basketball. I sit back, me and my wife talk about it. I said, man, if I could have played at 26, I wouldn't have been such a bum. But yeah, I think that the age discrepancy is making it difficult. But I love the parity. I love the parity. Outside of UConn, you're gonna have a different group in the mix every year.
Who do you think is going to take it in this Final Four that we're about to see later today?
Unpopular answer. I have no idea. I'm pulling for Arizona. I think they are the most complete team, top to bottom. I think we are sleeping on Illinois. Illinois has the tallest team in the nation. They've flown under the radar all year long. They're going to give UConn everything they can handle. And I wouldn't be shocked if Illinois or UConn, the winner of that game, wins it all, because Michigan and Arizona are going to beat each other up tonight. They're going to beat each other up. So I hope one of those teams, particularly Arizona, has the mental capacity to make it through the night and be able to handle the championship game as well.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, Pastor Scott, and what this since we had something happen late last night, last night, what's your take on Coach Ariama, the UConn coach, undefeated, then won over 12 national championships? Why do you think he became unglued last night?
That was sad. Now, I'm a sore loser and I'm a worse winner, but to see
Pastor, you might got that.
I'm a sore loser and I'm a worse winner. But to see Gino unravel like that,
What the hell?
that was bad. You were not mad about the handshake. You were not mad. And if you were, why are you so upset about that? He just didn't want to bow down to the queen, man. He didn't want to bow down to the queen. That's all that was.
And to your point about the handshake, Pastor, there's pictures like within minutes of that being kind of what was said. There were pictures now starting to circulate on the internet of the pregame handshake. Like, so trying to make it about something that it wasn't, and then trying to save face, like, my issue is this: is one, if it had been a coach that looked like us,
that's right,
responding, that way to a loss,
that's right,
we'd have been raked over the coals.
100%.
And if it had been Coach Stanley who responded like that, and this is why history
She would have been bitter and all this other stuff.
Exactly. She takes her losses like a champion. The same way she take her wins, she take her losses. And she spoke to that in the post game. She said, the difference between last year and this year is we learned what we needed to learn from that loss to be able to apply to this game. You know what I mean? So for that to happen, and I'm just, I got a black mama, I got 3 black sisters, and anytime a man, and let me be very clear, a white man in particular aggress at a sister like that, you're going to raise up something in me that he need to be checked. Like I don't care how old he is, somebody need to check him, and he needed, it need to be said on the national platform that he was dead wrong, and he owes Coach Dawn Staley an apology.
He owes her an apology, man, and you're 100% dead on. It's a sense of entitlement that makes my skin crawl. I'm a fan of a lot of UConn players. I have never been a fan of Gino. Never been a fan of Gino. I like Diana. I like Maya Moore. I like Paige. But that was bad, man. That was bad. Like you said, if the shoe was turned on several other different scenarios that we can play out, it wouldn't have been accepted. It would not have been accepted. He owes her a public apology. EOD.
Absolutely. Listen, if it had been a black male head coach, and what's the coach for LSU? You know what I mean?
Kim Mulkey. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Imagine if there had been a black male head coach in Kim Mulkey, and he do that towards her. There would be no, he wouldn't have gotten away with saying, oh well, I said what I had to say, and that's all I'm going that's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, oh really? No, you would have been getting drugged until they got to the bottom of this.
Absolutely. UCLA versus South Carolina, Sunday afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon, after church services. Thank goodness. What do you feel? Who's going to take that game Sunday afternoon?
Ooh, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. If I can answer it this way, my heart says USC, but my head says UCLA, Doc. My head says UCLA. They are tough. But Dawn is tough, and she's going to have her girls ready to play. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great game.
Man, listen, God with that sister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And what time is services tomorrow? So if people looking for a church home tomorrow or somewhere to go, where can they come, Pastor Scott?
Yes, sir. Memorial AME Zion Church, 549 Clarissa Street, Rochester, New York, where we lead people in living out God's purpose for life. Service starts at 9:45. 9:45. We're looking for it. We're going to talk from the subject. Someone's missing. Come check it out.
Pastor.
Yes, indeed. You're going to be on, and he can sing too, Bilal. This man, he done boasted our choir. Now we got a real mass choir. We had an average choir before he came to Rochester about a little over a year ago. but now he done built up our choir, man. This is very
God gets glory. God gets
We
glory.
about to turn this into Real Deal Shout Show.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for coming on, Pastor Dr. Daryl Scott of Memorial AME Zion Church in Rochester, New York. Thank you for coming on, talking about Super Sunday, and also giving us your your high basketball IQ. We look forward to having you back on the show again real soon.
Blessings. Thank you so much, friend.
Take care. Have a great day. Be blessed.
You too.
All right, Bilal. I tell you, we hit the nail on the head. We're rolling here this morning for sure. And definitely, we got to talk about another guy that's really doing his thing with the money. How about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins, man. This guy got another guarantee. I didn't realize this man has 11 straight guaranteed contracts. I never even thought a player could get in the National Football League could even get 2 or 3 in a guarantee. I knew I seen 2 or 3, but I've never seen 11 in a row.
Yeah, listen, Radman. I just need to know the name of his agent, because I need that kind of agent in my life. Like, where in the world? I need somebody to believe in me like Kirk Cousins' agent believe in him, because that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not just the fully guaranteed is part of it, but it's the amount of dollars that are fully guaranteed. This year it's like it's fair. It's lower tier 20 million, but next year and beyond up to 80 million. When you talking 80 million guaranteed?
Yeah.
What has and again, this is just us being fair.
Mm-hmm.
What has Kirk Cousins done on the field since his last contract to warrant 80 million guaranteed?
That's what and teams are very comfortable with paying him. I mean, even in Atlanta, they paid him that big money there. Even when the new coach, general manager, was there, they paid him, and they still drafted a rookie quarterback. I just don't get why you got to have to, and they pay him so far in advance. I mean, here it is, March, April time period. This man gets a new contract that early in the season. Why wouldn't you wait until June? I mean, it can't be that many teams trying to get this guy, can it? It can't be.
Absolutely not, Radman. Radman, riddle me this, right? This man is getting guaranteed contracts like they falling out of. He opened up his closet door. Meanwhile, every time Lamar Jackson seems to be up for a contract, it's all kinds of new stuff coming out of the reports out of Baltimore. This past season, it was he was falling asleep in meetings and all this other stuff. How is it that a two-time MVP who puts up year in and year out MVP caliber numbers, somehow anytime he up to get paid is some new report about something he's not doing that he shouldn't get paid, but meanwhile Kirk Cousins can get guaranteed contracts like they handed them out at the Department of Social Services.
Absolutely. J-GILLZ, come in on it. Cousin, he could have worked in Miami. I see Morris Thompson on the Beltway down there in the Virginia, D.C. area says he's an All-American white boy. They believe that he's like the orange man of Buffalo. Can you? That's what Morris Thompson down on the Beltway has to say. J-GILLZ, what you have to say in on this? This guy get paid March and April, man. Ain't even
Listen,
camp yet.
Listen, that's a ridiculous comparison, below Lamar Jackson. And come on, man, that's a ridiculous comparison. Nope, you have to understand how Kirk Cousins is getting this money. It's a very unconventional route. Ain't nobody about to just sign a franchise tag year after year after year. That's how he chose to do it. So these extended contracts ain't like he getting paid all of this money. He had a couple contracts that was like that, but mostly all of his money, guaranteed money, came off of the franchise tag. Ain't nobody signing the franchise tag. Ask Daniel Jones, ask all these guys. So when you're talking about him and Lamar, you're talking about a 5-year guaranteed contracts. That everybody has struggled getting that money as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, when you talking about those franchise guys, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, all that money took, all those deals took time to pay. Kirk Cousins, we can't be mad at Kirk Cousins because the team was just trying to give him 1-year deals. It's an unconventional route, but it ended up working for him in the long run. That's not on Kirk Cousins.
So J-GILLZ, so when he got the big contract going to Atlanta, it wasn't a franchise tag.
That's the one contract.
This contract with the Raiders ain't no franchise tag.
But the contract with the Raiders, the details. If you look at the details, they said something about he's only getting $20 million guaranteed this year.
That was this year. That's why I talked about the back end, $80 million.
That $80 million can be voided though. That's not like he's going to be getting. It's something with Atlanta's still paying for some of that money. If you look at the contract all the way, it's like it's you look at the 5-year 172, but when you look at it, a lot of that money's already been paid.
And this guy's the richest quarterback, not quarterback, but one of the richest players to ever play in the National Football League. I mean, the money just from Washington with they franchised him 2 years in a row with the franchise tag. He got paid big money there in Washington. And the guy he's an average quarterback for national football. He's a good quarterback. Obviously, he's a good quarterback to make the National Football League, but average because when he gets to the second half of the season, his arm gets tired. He starts throwing interceptions. It's the same story with him year in and year out. He's never been lucky enough to be able to do like Sam Darnold, play with a strong defensive team and limit his turnovers in the playoffs to get himself in the playoffs. And heck, I don't even think he's been in the playoffs maybe once or twice in all the years that he's been in the National Football League. So it's amazing how he can command this type of money with the type of quarterback that you see out here. You mean to tell me nobody quarterback from the USFL that's playing now, that league is going on? There's no quarterback from that league? What's that?
Total guaranteed on this contract, $11.3 million. This is not guaranteed money.
Okay.
You don't have to pay him after this.
After this year, $20 million.
After this $20 million, it's non-guaranteed.
That's not what the report was saying yesterday, but I defer to you.
I'm looking at it right now, man.
Okay.
I hope so, because again, conventional or unconventional, the brothers somehow always find a way to get paid. What I'm more curious about is what the implication now is for what the Raiders are going to do with that number 1 pick. What does that mean for this number 1 pick that the Raiders have?
Well,
I think they changed. You don't think they're picking a quarterback?
They still gonna pick a quarterback. They still gonna.
I mean, would you? I guess so. Okay.
He's a $20 million backup, which is cheap these days.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I just don't. I don't know if I'm Mendoza, is this? If I'm Mendoza, is this the environment I even want to go into?
Well, I think he has a choice. I think he's going to go there, and he probably won't play during the first season. He might play during the first season. Injury happened or something, or Kirk Cousins in the second half of the season usually stinks it up a lot in the second half of the seasons. So he may definitely get a chance. I think they feel like they need a veteran quarterback to teach him the ropes, to show him what it's like in the NFL practices and getting ready. And that's what a lot of these young quarterbacks are not ready. They just don't prepare properly for the games. And I think you need to see how you prepare properly, especially like Michael Penix. Michael Penix was thrown in there. He was thrown in there in the fire just right away. And I thought that was not the right thing to do down in Atlanta. But he tried to do his best and do what he could do. And that just shows you where you just throw a quarterback in there and hope for the best. I think it's a good move for the Raiders to bring him in. But gosh, man, this guy just keeps finding work, man. This guy knows how
bridge quarterback at the best is what he is, especially with a guaranteed of only $11.3 million on the season. It's a non-voided contract after this. They'll rework that out and get him for a much lower cap number. But you definitely have to get Mendoza. I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect bridge quarterback if you don't want Mendoza to start. You know what I mean? The Raiders, they're not looking to be juggernauts this season. They still got a lot of holes to fix. So while you still short up that offensive line, still learning that run game with Genty, I think having a guy like Kirk Cousins is going to prove better in the long run to help the overall development of Mendoza.
Or create enough controversy in the situation because they're going to be calling for Mendoza to start because he's the number one guy. He's the number one pick. So they're going to be calls for him to play the moment the Raiders aren't performing at a high level or the moment they're playing like the Raiders, there's gonna be calls for Mendoza to start, and then he's gonna get in there, and if he's looking like a rookie, there's gonna be people who are like, well, why not play Cousins? You know what I mean? At least you'll be somewhat competitive.
Exactly, he can be somewhat competitive. That we'll see how that transpires as we continue with the preseason, with the off-season workouts, the OTAs, the draft coming up in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks, so we'll see when that draft hits coming up. And before we move to our next segment, Jamaican Soul Restaurant, 211 Genesee Street, featuring Soul Food Sundays, open noon to 9 p.m. on Sundays and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. Get ready for that excellent Jamaican soul food and Soul Food Sunday, Easter Sunday. If you're not have a meal, you're not cooking, hey, Jamaican Soul is the place to go. Get you some serious soul food. I'm telling you, man, it's serious over there. Mac and cheese, collard greens, yams, all the sides, the cabbage. Oh my gosh, man, Sam and his crew, they throw it down at 211 Genesee Street, Jamaican Soul Restaurant. Check them out. Or if you also, another option, Bilal, you know where we like to go out in Henrietta, right? Where
yes,
do we like to go?
We like to go to Talia of India's, the award-winning, voted the best buffet in Monroe County. Experience the award-winning authentic Indian food in a warm, inviting atmosphere. Talia of India. Lunch buffet is 11:30 to 2. Dinner is 4:40 to 8:30 p.m. 3259 South Winton Road in the Winjeff Plaza. Listen, everybody gonna be looking for a good meal tomorrow after church.
That's right.
We giving you options. We giving you options.
That's right. Absolutely. Giving you some serious options. And now and before that was the Ronald McDonald House All-Star basketball game that Larry Bedgood was the official for. Him and Connie Smith were two of the officials for the girls game. And Larry Bedgood was named the Central Western Girls Basketball Official of the Year. And when he won that award, that allowed him to be one of the officials for the Ronald McDonald House annual All-Star Classic that took place back on March 27th at the Gates Childline High School. That was the Ronald McDonald House All-Star basketball game. Congratulations to Larry Bedgood and all the referees. Adrian Tyndale was the official of the year for the boys basketball, Board 60. So Adrian Tyndale, all the officials and all the people that put on that great classic, congratulations on another well-done event. Had a good time out there last weekend. And now we go to Houston, Texas. Here we come. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. We got a lot going on this weekend. Welcome back, Chris.
Appreciate it, George, Radman. How y'all doing? But I will say this. I'm very glad y'all got sponsors, but y'all are wrong. Every time I pop on the show, it's after the food sponsor promotions. Y'all make a brother hungry, man. I mean, that ain't right. I mean, are they going to deliver the freeze dry food and mail it to Houston? What can I do to get some of this? I could taste some of this great food.
Yes, we're working out for you. We're working. I know next time you're in the area, we definitely take you right out there as well. So yeah, well, I'll bring some next time we come to Houston, Texas, for sure.
Excellent.
For sure.
Thank you, George. Appreciate that.
Let's get into what happened last night with Gino. What blew? He was just so thoroughly outcoached and out. He didn't have no answers whatsoever. That he just blew a gasket and just tried to blame it on his coach rather than his lack of coaching in this semifinal game last night.
Gino gave more fire to those who don't like him, his personality. He seemed to be upset pre-game. I mean, and it is traditional that the opposing coaches shake hands before the game. Okay. He said he waited 3 minutes for Dawn Staley, Coach Staley, to come, and she never came and shake his hand. until like at the very last minute, and then Dawn did that little quick handshake, and then she did like she said. She told Holly Rowe, she shook everyone's hand on the staff for UConn. That 3-minute wait apparently pissed Gino off, and add to the fact he did not like the fact that Dawn coached like coaches do, talk to the refs, get in the refs' head, with some foul call situation, and that worked out to their advantage in the third quarter. Gino said, well, are we allowed to talk to refs like that? Because that bothered him too. And then, of course, losing the game, he didn't like that either. So I guess it all just built up in his head after the game where he felt the need to tell Dawn something when that handshake before the game ended officially, because he left the court before the game was over, and he was in a huff. And it's a bad look for him for sure.
Absolutely.
I think it's funny. I think it's sad, really.
It was sad. Listen. I'm still hot. I'm gonna be hot for a while. I was just saying in the last segment. I got a mama and I got 3 sisters. I got aunties, and imagine if that had been Kelvin Sampson.
Oh yeah.
And Kim Mulkey. How that meant. You know what I mean? Listen. There was a crucifixion that we talked about last night in church, and there'd be another one. There would have been another one if it was the reverse. And that's part of my issue with it is I don't, all that other stuff, all that not, the complaining to the refs, man. You a coach. You have the same opportunity to have whatever dialogue or conversation you're gonna have with a ref about the calls you're not happy with and whatnot. Like, that's part of the job. Like,
right.
If you stood on any sideline, you have pointed out things to referees that you didn't feel like they were calling, that they were missing. You know what I mean, during the game. Like, if you stood on any sideline, you've done that. And if you haven't, shame on you as a coach.
Agree.
Like, so like that stuff is so superficial. And then, she came and shook my hand at the last possible minute and all that. Like, did she do it or not? You know what I mean? If the expectation or the history is that, if the tradition is that we shake hands, that's just what it is. I don't get all the superficial stuff he trying to talk, and you know what I mean, to make it a stink about,
It seemed desperate. I mean, that's how it came off as, because it's not the first time UConn has played South Carolina. It's not the first time Gino and Don have been on opposing sidelines. So none of that was new. They're both from Philly, so they go back a long way. So I don't know where this came from. What is the big deal about it? She shook his hand. Now some folks could say, well, it wasn't a great handshake. It wasn't a sincere handshake. Well, I'm not going to get into all this judging what kind of handshake it was. She shook the man's hand, didn't she? Okay, then move on. I mean, take the L. You got 12 championships, 25 Final Fours, and now you pick the time to say, well, I don't like how she shook my hand. She made me wait for it. Come on, man. Sound like a dirty old man. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think it boiled down to, Dawn Staley winning 6 of the last 8 matchups. And exactly. And it wasn't just the fact that he lost. They got beat down last night. You know what I mean? They got whooped. They got whooped. And that's what it boiled down to. He wants to blame the refs. And we understand the 6 fouls and your girls that got a little chippy, your girls out there in ripped jerseys. But ultimately, it boiled down to Dawn Staley continuing to beat him in this last decade, 6 out of 8 times. And he just had a little temper tantrum. That's all.
And I think one other thing I noticed during the game as well is when this Connecticut girls went into the huddle, their faces, they look distraught. They're concerned. And I think Willie, my good friend and women's college basketball guru, Willie Washington Sr., he's been saying it all season. He said it's going to come a time this season when UConn, because they play such an easy schedule, they didn't play that many teams from the Southeastern Conference where they play physical basketball. And the chickens came home to roost for them last night. And he could see in the huddle that whatever he was saying to them, it wasn't getting through to them. Because I never seen Sarah Strong look confused or look just
frustrated, disjointed. Yeah.
Yeah, as a FUD as well. Another big time player. She looked out of it too. They couldn't figure out. Hey, how come I can't get to the hole and can't get my shot off? It seemed like South Carolina really worked on getting to the spot and not allowing those girls to get to their spots. And were able. And their defense, Raven Johnson. Man, can you talk about Chris Raven Johnson's defense last night?
Well, UConn, and let me say this up front. Well, now that we're in the show, I picked UConn to win it all this year. Okay, so I didn't think South Carolina had enough firepower offensively to keep up with them and beat UConn. I thought Carolina would score about 60. I thought UConn would score 65 or more, not under 50. So that part of it surprised me. Raven Johnson, when UConn went small, was to an advantage South Carolina because it put Raven on Sarah Strong, and that probably Sarah Strong wasn't used to that as well. And that's one thing. Taller or physical post players, they don't like shorter defenders because they can get under them, and it's not. They're not used to that. They're used to somebody their same height, their same weight to look at, eye to eye and match up, to do how you want to do the post up thing like that. So Raven Johnson, she did a great job, but the freshman McKeer for South Carolina, she got a bright future, man. If there was a 3-year, go early pro thing, she could do it in her junior year because athletically. She had that key 3-point shot. But kudos to Carolina. When UConn made those 3 straight threes, I thought to myself, oh, here it comes. Here comes the run, UConn run. The Gamecocks responded, answered the challenge, and UConn scored us the rest of the last 5 minutes of the ball game to seal the victory. So salute to them. It's physical basketball. It took all until the semifinals for UConn's non-competitive stuff in the Big East. As you say, George, came home to roost. Life in the Big East is just not the same anymore. It's nowhere close to being as good as it used to be. The physicality is not there. So I tossed around there with some friends after the game, toward the end of the game, UConn to the Big 12. It's coming. It's coming. Brett Yormark, he still wants it. This might be some more fuel to that fire.
Can I give some flowers to the Raven Johnson? 3 years ago, Raven Johnson got cooked.
Yes.
By Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Then Chief came back the next year and put handcuffs on Caitlin Clark, which resulted in ultimately South Carolina winning the national title that year. Her growth as a player, and is particularly on the defensive side of the ball, has been such a stalwart. You know what I mean, for South Carolina, and
as a person. Because
absolutely,
after she got cooked, she received a lot of negative flack and criticism, from outsiders. I won't call them fans, outsiders, and that impacted her. That hurt her all off season. But she grew from that. She got better as a person, and as a player, and as a defender. And look at her now.
Yeah. So I got to give her, because I remember that. I mean, all they talked about was how Caitlin Clark, just cooked her in that game, and she came back, and she, again, people crumble under that kind of, experience, and she has come back, and she is, man, the way she's developed it, like you said, as a player and a person, huge kudos to Raven Johnson, man, and the player and person she's become.
Were you surprised? I was both games. Were you surprised about the UCLA the way Texas ended up losing to UCLA?
Well, Texas, I was surprised to see Madison Booker go 3 for 23. The All-Americans, Madison Booker, Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd, none of them shot the ball well last night. Now, I don't know if, which is the thing about the tournament. It's one and done. A series, you can have a bad shooting night. But those 3 players, the worst time for their teams to go cold and have probably the worst shooting performances all season, and it cost them their team. The Madison Booker, her whole struggles were summarized the last minute, last few seconds. Tried to drive to the hoop. Lauren Betts blocked her shot. Final seconds, tried to drive to the hoop. She fell on the floor, tripped over herself, turnover. So she couldn't make shots. She couldn't complete plays. And you saw at the final second, she was pounding herself in the head. Like, this is just frustration. Probably her worst nightmare came true.
Yeah, we were watching the game, and and my wife so happened to look over, and she's like, "That's the fourth quarter." The score in the fourth quarter looked like a first half score.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's struggling to make shots, pressure bust pipes. UCLA, well, I thought they were about to choke that one away. I mean,
Yeah.
it came close. But Lauren Betts, another All-American, and she did a great job. 6'7". She did a great job keeping Booker in front of her. They tried to get her in screening roles, and she just, Master Booker settled probably too much for my liking for outside shots rather than try to get by Lauren Betts. Or maybe she couldn't get by Lauren Betts. Maybe that's what she realized she couldn't do it because of Lauren Betts' lateral quickness and those long arms. And so WNBA draft is on the 13th. Lauren Betts showed another reason why she should be a top pick in the draft, if not the top pick, because not too many 6'7" players on the women's side can move their feet like that.
Yeah, because that one where she blocked the shot and threw the girl to the floor, the ball and the ball and the girl both hit the floor like that. I was like, oh man! Even the announcer was like, oh my man, that was a hell of a play she made.
He ain't lying.
Hell of a play she
and
made.
Salute to her coming out, writing about it and publicizing her struggles with mental health and having to be hospitalized and letting everybody know it's okay to ask for help. So kudos to her as well.
Exactly. Should be a good game tomorrow afternoon. Get quickly over to
we still talking on women. I just got to know, because I love me some Audie Crooks. What's your thoughts on her hitting the transfer portal, and where do you see her going? Another impact player for next year.
Me and some of my colleagues, we kind of hinted at this a few days ago, actually, that Iowa State was in trouble and going to lose a lot of their players in the portal, and was waiting for what Audie Crooks would decide to do. And she, obviously, the All-American on the team, decided to enter the portal. Some of her teammates already have the, do not contact, apparently in the portal, which means they've already been contacted by someone else to go somewhere else. I'm kind of curious to see where Audie ends up because of her skill set, her size, and really her lack of mobility defensively. What's the best fit for her? But I'm sure Audie and her people have already discussed this and figured it out, and probably already been contacted by certain programs who are going to pay her what she's worth and who are the best fit for her. So we'll see in a matter of days, because the portal officially opens up for the women on the 6th, on Monday.
Oh wow, that's right after the game. Wow, that's
Did you
So
see her in South
women
Carolina?
the day after, and the men day after their championship, and the men be Tuesday, day after their championship.
What was that, J-GILLZ?
I said, could you see her in South Carolina? I don't think she goes, but it would be great to see her matched up with a great coach like Dawn Staley.
This footwork wise, she got to get better shape for me. I mean, I love her offensive game, her dominance.
That ain't their typical big woman they go for.
Yeah,
for sure.
No,
absolutely. And how do we see it on the men's side?
Arizona, Michigan. Oh, that should be a great. I hope it lives up to the hype, because that should be a great matchup. I don't like Coach Hurley, so go Illinois.
I love it. I love it. I because again, if it was somebody like a Coach Sampson on the sidelines doing the stuff that Coach Hurley does, he would be like the Draymond
Yes.
of coaches. He would have been. He would have got teched up so many times, or kicked, sent out of games. Like, but somehow, like, I was listening yesterday, and people were saying, "Oh, he's so entertaining on the sideline." That's not entertaining.
It's not.
No.
Like
it's
Go
entertaining if you. I mean, go on and say it. If you look like him.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You get away with it, and when you look like him, that's nothing that would, that's nothing anyone that looks like us will get away with. That is the reality. That is the, and that to entertainment. I was like, man, we will
If it were us, we would be, termed the angry black man or the angry black woman.
Absolutely.
Don Chaney back in the Temple days when him and Calipari got into it.
That's a great one, Rad, man. You absolutely right, because Don Chaney would let those refs know, and they would tech him up like it was nobody business.
Absolutely. And like nobody business. Let's switch over to a guy, Fred Taylor, the running back from the Jaguars. When he fumbled, when he pulled his groin and dropped the ball, Man, Luka reminded me, he did a Fred Taylor the other night, man. Luka, man, he just didn't care. He didn't give a damn about that basketball. He dropped it, and it hurt so bad, he couldn't even get his hand around what was hurting him, man. He was just like, man, I don't know what he was froze. He was doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk and everything. Chris, what he done lost the weight, but he still has body issues. And that's what the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks said was one of the reasons why he had to get rid of him. What's your take on the Luka injury and what that means for the Lakers?
I mean, it's a huge blow to the Lakers because they were playing well offensively for sure the last few weeks. But hamstrings, that could be, depending on who you talk to, physical trainer-wise, could be because you're not stretching correctly, you're not stretching enough, you're not getting, warmed up, all those different kind of health issue reasons. But the last month or so, injuries to star players in the NBA have really popped up, impacting the all-league awards and all that kind of stuff, and impacting the star players' wallets because they were getting bonuses, would earn bonuses for making all-NBA or all-defense. So that's a big reason why the player associations come out upset about the 65, minimum game rule. That's got to be discussed and figured out. I don't know what it is, but I'm old school. The best ability is availability. So where's the number going to be? Are we going to say 50 games, 45? You got to play a certain number of games to earn awards. I'm sorry. I don't need Cade Cunningham or Luka to win an award to know they're the top 5, top 10 players in the league. They're upset because it's here in the wallet. That's the biggest thing to me.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there. That's a great point. And that was going to be my question in terms of like kind of where does that line go? Where does that line work? I just feel like you can't now use it as a contract negotiable. You know what I mean? Because if the rule is going to be 65 games in order to be eligible for those awards, you can't now use those postseason awards to if you hit this, if you get all defensive team, now that's an extra $100,000 or whatever towards the contract.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see the point. I don't like the fact that if a player earns all league honors, whatever it is, that it counts against the cap. Let's make it a bonus payment. You earned it this year. We're going to give you whatever it is in the contract clause. If it's 100,000, $1 million, 10 million, here you go, and a bonus on your next check. Don't have it impact the salary cap, because if these guys made those numbers, then you're penalizing the team for having great players. How does it make sense? It's
a great point. Great point.
And BacSpin, we leave it at that. BacSpin. And Chris Gardner, that's why he's on the show, coming up with these quality, excellent points for our listening audience.
Yes. My brothers, great show. Another great show. And have yourselves a great Easter, man. I mean, this is Easter weekend. The day the Lord was, laid to rest and all of that. So we want to acknowledge Easter Sunday tomorrow, and
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying. And y'all brothers, man, y'all bring the fire when it come to these sports, man. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be listening and y'all be making me laugh on one hand, and then on another, y'all. I feel like I'm on First Take sometimes.
but these are our takes.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Great job once again, fellas. Great job, man.
Absolutely. And one other batsman, Jeff Anderson, is doing one of the games today. Wanted to send me Rochester's own Jeff Anderson, one of the referees, one of the officials for this afternoon's Final Four games.
Nice. Rock City doing big things when it comes to collegiate basketball as well as the NBA, man. So we got a lot of talent here in the town, man.
Yeah, Jaden Bradley.
And great food.
And great food. That's right. Player of the year, Jaden Bradley of the Big 12.
Yes, sir.
You get to see him at Arizona as well, another Rochester area.
Yep. So, hey, I love it. I love the talent that we have. I love the talent we produce. And I love us, getting recognized on the big stages, man. That's, Rochester is well overdue.
Absolutely. Like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. We'll see you next week.
And we ain't got Pastor still on the show, but I got 3 words. He got up.
No doubt.
He got up.
Y'all keep it where you need it, man. The Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. Followed by yours truly, the voice of hip hop, your man BacSpin with the Back in Time Mix Show. It's all on the way right here on the Beat. Keep it locked.